Why your love relationship is fake. We often think of our partners as an identical reflection of ourselves. We love to believe that the person we choose to love is an extension of our own identity that mirrors most, if not all, the similarities. Driven by a sense of security, we project our ideals, aims, beliefs, and values into the other person, creating a version of another human being that we share time and space with. Through this biased reflection, we no longer share a genuine connection to the real person. We merely see a fantasy figure of who we think they are, rather than they actually are. That's why couples argue, fight, and sometimes abuse each other without resolving the problems they conflict about. They become consumed by frustrations and disappointments of each other once their fantasies are shattered by their exposed differences, ending up with a heartbreaking separation or worse, an abusive relationship. When individuals are trapped in certain roles that didn't fit them in the first place and they play them along to serve their emotional safety, a sacrifice of the genuine self is offered for the benefit of the couple. To preserve the myth of the dyad identity, we withhold the genuine interior. We shift our thoughts, modify our values, and play along to serve the narrative we created with our partner. That in itself, a process similar to what we find in the ego development of the infant. Psychoanalysis godfather Sigmund Freud believed that the infant is born egoless, a sack of flesh that survives upon the need of others. And to meet his needs, the infant grows to identify with others in a psychological dynamic of what Melanie Klein mentioned object relation. The child learns to be identified with his caregiver, constructing his first worldviews based on his relationship with his parents. The infant not only needs the caregiver, but he sees himself in the attached person. Some psychoanalysts, such as René Speeds, Margaret Mahler, argued that the infant survivor relies on his identification with his caregiver. He sees himself and explores the world through the caregiver's emotional response. And most importantly, this relational experience determines how the infant develops his sense of self. If his needs are neglected and his emotions are disregarded by the caregiver, a fragile sense of oneself is established deeply into the psyche. Following the same psychodynamics in our adult life, we often seek love to find attachment and connection. But somewhere in the process, we give up our genuine selves. We mold our opinions to meet theirs. We say things we think they might like. Bit by bit, we find ourselves peeling the layers of our identity for an ideal that we think will provide us security and acceptance. Think about how many times you acted in a certain way that didn't reflect who you are, or said something you thought the other will be interested in, or you tried changing your style, habits, and shape to get the intimate life you desire so badly.